And looking back to Nellis, Uzi, and Colt, those aircraft we taxied past out there on the Gulf ramp are now getting airborne. We've still got those Chevy F-15s on the ramp, but yeah, everything is flowing in behind us now. So yeah, I guess it is kind of ideal that we get the A-10s up first, since it's going to take me a lot longer to get up there than it did, or it will, for any of these other aircraft. Now, I'm looking for a push time of 16:18, so I just need to manage this so that I'm arriving at, let's see, 0.6, I think? Yeah, arriving at the Marshall, at this airspeed, if I just turn straight at the Marshall point, I get there at 16:13, about 5 minutes early. So yeah, I'm still looking just fine for timing here. Okay, about 4 miles to the steer point. I'll step up to steer point 3 and cut the corner just a little bit, taking the autopilot offline. And come on around. And we're going to be making the transit and flying just in general at a much lower altitude than the rest of the aircraft. So as we make the transit up here, we should be seeing all these aircraft that are taking off now catch up and then go over us, overhead. It should be kind of neat to watch. Okay, 10 degrees, 31 miles. Yeah, there we go. So this is just going to barely take us over that terrain. I remember in the F-15 we were, what about, 12,000 feet at that point. I'm about, I think I passed that steer point at 8,000. So it's going to take us out there and keep us no higher than 12,000 feet throughout the entire, practically throughout the entire route. In fact, what I'll do here is I'll play around with this a little bit since I have the time. I'll go ahead and go to the ceiling setting. I'll go ahead and go data up and put this to 12,000 feet so that I'll get an alert as I go above my assigned altitude block. Boy, there's got to be a better way to do this than doing the data. That's just, boy, that takes a while for it to step up. Maybe that is in fact the way it's supposed to work. I don't know. Okay, 12,500. So if I'm above that 12,000 foot block that I'm assuming I'm going to be working in, I'll get the alert. And again, push time 16:18, and let me check on the time on target for steer point 5, 16:13. So I'm still way ahead here. And coming up, about to make the left-hand turn up the Sally Corridor, just starting to try to get some situational awareness going. SD on the RWR, that's an SA-11 site. I've got at least one of them expected out there in the area, so it is up and transmitting. I also have F-15s, airborne contacts. These are the Ford cap that I've heard on station out there already, or maybe it was the Chevy cap. Chevy or Ford, I don't really need to worry too much about the other aircraft on this mission. And let me see, F2, E3, that is going to be my AWACS aircraft on station. And then if I separate these out, the F2 for Tornado, and I've also got some F-16s back behind me. I'm going to try to remember as I go to play around with these functions up here I can just have it prioritize the most relevant contacts. I can have it separate a whole lot of contacts out into this more easily readable or manageable contact lists. But yeah, I'll see if I can remember to do that. It's one of those things that, yeah, as I play up here, it seems like it'd be useful, but in reality, I rarely end up doing a whole lot other than just look around, find my target, and just sort of just do things in real time. But yeah, we'll see what I can remember. So I've made the left-hand turn up to the Caliente Alpha and Bravo airspace where we're going to be marshalling. I'm settling in at my altitude of about 12,000 feet. I've heard the other aircraft call in up at about 15,000 feet as they make the same transit. I'm going to engage the autopilot in altitude and heading hold, and that'll take me straight on out there. There's Uzi 5 at 15,000. That'll mean that I think he's out there just in front of us. I think the steer point numbering, I can see some aircraft just back there and back of us. I think the steer point numbering is a little bit different for our flight. So I've got, if I look out there in the distance, I've got barely visual on two aircraft right out there just above me. That'll be probably Dodge 2 or one of these flights calling in on station out there. So my station is just going to be out here just on the horizon that student gap right there, and it's just going to be between steer point 5 and 6, and then pushing at 16-18. My timing is still, yeah, just perfect. I'm 5 minutes early, which is exactly where I want to be coming up here. I could have done with a little bit more time, I guess, on the ramp. I guess I did rush that a little bit more than I would have wanted to. I was expecting the timing to be a little bit harder to make, frankly, than it did. I mean, I could have stayed another 10 minutes on the ramp there, and or more. I could have stayed another 15 minutes on the ramp and still made this, because I've flown the route as briefed. If I had needed to, I could have taken off and just flown due north and had no trouble at all making up 10-15 minutes if things went wrong, or if I just got bogged down, or if I hadn't done this a million times, and if I needed to go step by step in the checklist, I could have done that as well. So yeah, very good timing on this, I think. And approaching the Marshall steer point right here. Just been checking out the data link for other contacts. I've got F-15s in front of me and above me at 16,000 feet. More F-15s off to the right. I've got, what are you catching up there? Another, let me see, F-16s, 14,000 feet off to my right. I heard Uzi, the Tornadoes that won't be showing up as a data link target out there calling on station, so they're presumably right here in the same vicinity. Okay, RWR contacts, of course, all the friendly aircraft out there to our right, plus the friendly combat air patrols out there to the left, and then search radars out there to our left. And Colt 1 F-16 Seed on station. They'd be out there to our right. And there go the first of the Fords. These are the fighter sweep. Ford 3 was the flight that in Mission 3 of the F-15 campaign that I was flying as. One thing that I've thought about doing is, as I get a little bit further into this, is maybe cutting like an F-15 and an A-10 mission together, just showing the same mission from the same point of view. That was a Tornado right there co-altitude with me, wasn't it? Boy, I guess I've got to keep my eyes out. Okay, that was one of the Uzi flights right there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and go to the altitude hold, autopilot mode. We put it into a left-hand bank right here, and this is just going to be where I hold. I'm just going to set myself up in like a little circular holding pattern, me and 2 right here, and I'll keep an eye out for those Uzis. But they were in a left-hand turn, I think just holding in an orbit like I am right now, so I don't think I'll have to worry about them anymore. Okay, so Uzi 1 and Ford 4 are pushing. Those are Tornadoes and F-15s. I guess these were F-16s holding right here at co-altitude with me. So I almost had another head-on with those guys. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop my altitude down to about 10,000 feet and hold a little bit lower. As we're about 3 minutes from the push. Yeah, what I need to do is go ahead and select steer point 6. That's going to be 2 minutes out. And if I just fly to steer point 6, this will put me, well, pretty much right on the, well, about a minute early, I guess, on the push time. Okay, Ford 3 engaging Bandit Bull 074 for 70 at 26,000. So as expected, Ford is pushing in there and starting to make things happen with these Red Air combat air patrols. There's Colt 2 pushing, and I'm still just on track for my push waypoint, hitting the timing on that. Oh, just about right, about 10 seconds early on this speed. So yeah, that's just fine. Actually, more than just fine for my purposes. Okay, so that engagement's going to be out here just to the west of the FIBA. In fact, 70 miles from the bullseye. That might actually be this side or very close to the FIBA. And I'll have TACVIEW up for you so you can follow along as things like that happen. Of course, all I can see is what I see from the cockpit and what I can get through my TAD, Tactical Awareness Display. We go up to 0.7, this is the IP, and the point at which I check in, that's 10 degrees off my nose to the right for 27 miles.
Warning, autopilot.
I'm going to disengage the autopilot and then put the nose down to get down here and get a little bit of terrain masking going, since I'm going into an area with known, well, I guess now we have known aircraft threats. I'll go for the path hold autopilot mode and just engage it right there. And I'll also, as I'm going in, let me go ahead and manage the flight a little bit. Let's go for UHF. Let's go flight. And navigation and go trail. So that's going to put 2 just in back of me, following the exact same path that I'm following. As I had the Strike Eagles, Dodge 1, one of the Strike Eagle flies pushing. 29, MiG-29 or Sukhoi 27 off my nose, as expected. But yeah, I like the, okay, that was a dog ear. That's a just early warning radar that's tied into those SA-15s and the SA-19s. But yeah, anyway, he had trail formation for 2, so now he's just going to follow me. If I had, for example, left him right there, if I had skirted down here through this little valley right here, he would have been out there over the terrain. So now he's just going to follow me. I'm just going to come up and make the ridge crossing through this little saddle right here and continue on like this. I don't have to get down too low, but I do want to use the terrain to mask me as much as I can, or as much as feasible as I make my way in here. I also need to go ahead and fence in. So let's go lights off, let's go master arm, gun pack, laser arm. Okay, countermeasures, let me go to manual, and once that, there's Uzi 1 and 2 passing Irish. I'm also passing Mount Irish as we go in here. Got some contrails up there in the distance, and yeah, can't really see any other aircraft, but yeah, I'm going with the small mono visibility settings, so I'll get a little bit of a benefit if they're very close to me, but nothing too ridiculous here. And yeah, I was going for a program echo just to give me a basic setup for countermeasures, and I can adjust that as needed. Okay, standby air for the ECM pod, that's exactly what I want until I get in there close, and then I'm worrying about SAMs, missile warning system active. That's just fine. Still got the 29 off the nose. Colt 1's passing Mount Irish. That's an F-16 flight. I'm going to take the nose down a little bit to get into this terrain just a little bit more, and then I'll come to the left just to use this little saddle right there to work my way into the area.
Altitude, altitude. Altitude, altitude.
And let me also, once I'm clear of here, I'll go ahead and adjust my altitude alert altitude to put that down to something more like 200 feet. I'm just going to look back there for 2. He'll be able to make that no sweat. And I'll just correct back to the right. And I don't mind being a little bit south of track. In fact, I would prefer to be a little bit south of track as we get in here, just to stay away from the farms, but not too far south so that we get into the container.
Altitude.
Okay, so now I'm clear of that. Altitude alert, let me go down to 200 for my floor. That's where I'll get the altitude alert now. There we go. Yeah, and I really have no business being any lower than that. I'm not trying to do anything crazy here. As my RWR is now clear. Okay, 2 is close enough that he's got a tally on a bandit at 1 o'clock, which is not a good thing. I should be clear. I know I had 4-3 up there doing combat air patrol, doing the fighter sweep for me. 4-4 is the other F-15 fly, passing Mount Irish. Okay, 30 degrees, 4 miles to 0.7. Okay, Bull 061 for 40 at 30,000 is way out there beyond the FIBA. No issue for me. Farms up there, just beyond the ridge. I need to play this cool. I might be a little bit further. Okay, that's 29s in front of me and to the left. The ones to the left do concern me because those weren't the ones that were just called out as that bullseye call from Ford 4. That should still be okay. They shouldn't be... Yeah, per the briefing, I'm not expecting these guys to come this side of the FIBA. And that didn't happen to me on the F-15 flight, so I think I'm going to be okay here. Okay, S6, that was an SA-19 contact out there to the right. Some missile launch to my right. That is probably off F-15s. Ford 3 or probably Ford 4, maybe. Or possibly AGM-88s. That would make a lot more sense, in fact. Okay, so what I need to do is sort of slow things down here. I'm getting a little bit too far in. Okay, Taliban at 11 o'clock. 29. Tell you what, let me go ECM on. I don't think that's on me. Let me circle here. Okay, 4-3 is engaging. I don't like all these bandit calls. This is not exactly what I was expecting in the A-10. I've got a little bit of room to go down south until I get close to the container, so I'm still fine. Contrails behind me. Okay, 2's picking up armor targets. That'll be our target area, in fact, out there that he's picking those up at. I heard Uzi engaging AAA, so those are the guys that are going to be clearing the way for us. Okay, I'm not liking this at all. Let me just take it straight over this ridge and just extend straight away from this area. Yeah, that 29 is like really, really close. Let me dump out some more chaff. Well, I guess with Program Echo, the downside to that is that as well as dropping chaff, I'm dropping flare, which is sort of giving my position away more than I would like, but it's still, just for expediency's sake, what I'm going to do. Okay, so down below this ridge, yeah, I think I'm going to be okay from here on out. I've got those 15s behind me. I've got some Fords engaging bandits. So let me just bring it on around here. I'm just going to come out here into this little area. I'll continue to look behind me as I extend back out, pretty much due east at this point. There's 2 cresting that same ridge right behind me. I don't see anything behind him. Okay, still got that 29. I'm going to jam on standby, or I'm going to jam on air again, just for the heck of it. Okay, 229 contacts in RWR, still the same one, like right there. I haven't heard 2 call out another visual or a missile launch or anything like that. Okay, another 29. Now, I think this is just a MiG-29 versus F-15 battle that I'm sort of hearing back there. I'm going to continue on this heading, and this is actually a pretty darn good spot to hold right here. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and put it into altitude hold. Okay, I've got a visual and a contact coming over the ridge. I've got my A-9s pulled up. Jam again. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can do something about this. Okay, let me see if I can make a visual ID on this guy. He's smoking. Okay, let's go UHF wingman. How about we just engage bandits just in case? So F8 bandits. Hey, come around and see if I can make an ID on this guy. Oh, that's a missile launch, isn't it? Okay, I'm turning into the missile. I got my A-9s up. That's a MiG-29 right there. Let me see if I can come on around. If I have enough energy, I can take an A-9 shot. That's a missile launch. Flare out. That's 2. That's Lock. What are you? You are MiG-29. I'm taking that shot. I've got one more AIM-9. The uncage. That's a hit. Okay, let me see if I have any other bandits out here. Let me break right. 2 was engaging bandits. That's the only one that I saw right there. RWR is clear except for some long-range contacts. That's 2. Okay, nothing else visually out here. I've got Dodge 1 engaging bandits. That's a long way from me. Missile launch, 3 o'clock. Okay, visual out there over the farms. 2's engaged defensive. I think the battle is out there over the farms now. Okay, tell you what, let me just go ahead and take it around to the east again. Let me extend out on this. I think I've got some cover. This one is 2. Okay, 2 o'clock target for 3-1 from 2. Okay, I think we're clear of the bandits. Let me go ahead and have the wingman rejoin on me at 5. And I'll continue to extend back out. And I'm trying to decide now, okay, I'm clear of 29 contacts. I think that threat is gone. Okay, and I'm just going to hold here. I think that threat is clear. I'm just going to hold here for another minute or so. And gather my wits. The only bandits calls that I'm hearing from 4 are out there in the distance. What I should do now is, let me go to 150 and make a call to AWACS real quick and see what they have to tell us. So F7, AWACS, and just give me a picture. F5. Okay, and just as I'm expecting with the JTAC, the AWACS comms are going to be delayed slightly, so I just need to play it patiently here and wait for the calls to come in. Okay, and I can't find 2 visually. Let me just do a quick radio check with them. This is where I wish we had the, like in the F-15, that check or check-in thing. Just let me have him go to another formation. I'll just have him go line abreast and then back to trail. And all these radio calls coming in are at least 40 miles out. And now we've got picture clean coming in. Okay, that was just a whole bunch of backed up radio chatter, and that was the response to my picture call. So right now, picture's clean. I can go ahead and press on in, but let me get 2 squared away now. Let me just give him a maneuver real quick and just throw him break right. See if I get a response. And okay, I seem to have lost my wingman, so I don't know if one of those MiGs got him. At one point, I think we were up against 2 of them. I only saw 1 MiG, but he might have just got hit, so I'm just going to go in single ship right now. And I am looking clear when it comes to bandits at this point. Yeah, I think everything has died down enough for me to get in there.